Your Brain on Leadership, Rewiring for Success and Sanity. Welcome to an extraordinary journey into the depths of leadership, neuroscience, and personal transformation. I'm thrilled to share with you today the groundbreaking insights I've gained from a recent conversation with Tiffany Martin, a true visionary in the realm of leadership development. Tiffany isn't just another leadership guru. She's a force of nature, a woman who has turned personal adversity into a mission to revolutionize how we think about leadership and its impact on our brains and lives. Tiffany Martin, the founder and CEO of Visionary Concepts and Events, has earned her title as the leadership analyst through 28 years of blood, sweat, and yes, probably a few tears in leadership and business development. But what truly sets her apart is her unique blend of personal experience, scientific knowledge, and an unwavering commitment to making the world a better place, one leader at a time. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Another talk about leadership? Haven't we heard it all before? Well, buckle up, because what I'm about to share with you is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about leadership, your brain, and maybe even yourself. Did you know that your brain actually shrinks when you're under stress? Yes, you heard that right. That magnificent organ sitting in your skull, the one responsible for every thought, every decision, every brilliant idea you've ever had, it physically shrinks when you're stressed out. Now, imagine the implications of this in our high pressure work environments, in our roles as leaders, as innovators, as human beings trying to navigate this complex world. This isn't just some abstract concept. This is happening in boardrooms, in startups, in households across the globe. And it's having a profound impact on how we lead, how we communicate, and how we live our lives. But here's the kicker, and this is where Tiffany's work becomes truly revolutionary. This process is reversible. In fact, with the right approach, we can not only stop our brains from shrinking, but we can actually rewire them for greater resilience, clarity, and effectiveness. Tiffany's journey to this groundbreaking work wasn't a straight path. It was forged through personal struggles that would have broken many others. Childhood trauma, homelessness, failed relationships, even surviving narcissistic abuse. These weren't just obstacles in Tiffany's life. They were the crucible in which her understanding of the human psyche was formed. And if that wasn't enough, life threw her another curveball, a rare brain disorder that led to brain surgery. Now, most people would have seen this as a setback. Tiffany? She saw it as an opportunity to turn herself into a living, breathing case study of resilience, transformation, and the incredible plasticity of the human brain. This is a woman who doesn't just talk the talk. She's walked the walk, crawled the walk, and at times probably dragged herself along the walk. And every step of the way, she's been taking notes, analyzing, and developing a framework that's now changing lives and organizations across the globe. Tiffany is the first person to be certified in neuroleadership in the city of Houston by the Academy of Brain-Based Leadership. That's not just a fancy title to put on a business card. It's a testament to her commitment to bridging the gap between cutting-edge neuroscience and practical, applicable leadership strategies. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Toxic leadership. We've all experienced it, haven't we? That manager who couldn't lead their way out of a wet paper bag. That executive whose ego was writing checks their skills couldn't cash. It's a plague in our workplaces, and it's costing us in productivity, in mental health, and yes, in actual brain matter. Tiffany puts it bluntly, and I love her for this. Every manager doesn't make a great leader, and every leader doesn't belong in the boardroom. It's a hard truth, but one we desperately need to hear. But here's the good news. There's hope. There's a way to heal your shrinking brain, to become the leader you were meant to be, to create workplaces that don't just survive, but thrive. And it all starts with getting your A.C.T together. No, I'm not talking about a standardized test you took in high school. AST stands for awareness, clarity, and talk. It's Tiffany's framework for developing your leadership identity and leadership intelligence. It's about understanding who you really are, why you do the things you do, what your leadership style is, and how to identify and manage your triggers. Let's break this down, shall we? First up, awareness. How many of us are sleepwalking through our lives and our leadership roles? We react, we decide, we lead, but do we really understand why we do what we do? Tiffany's framework forces you to wake up, to become acutely aware of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Let me share a story Tiffany told me about one of her clients. This was a high-powered executive, the kind of person you look at and think they've got it all figured out. but his team was always on edge. Productivity was dropping, and he couldn't understand why. Through the awareness phase of Tiffany's program, this executive had a revelation. He realized that his own stress was manifesting in subtle microaggressions. A sharp tone here, a dismissive gesture there. He was creating a toxic environment without even realizing it. This awareness was like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly he could see the impact of his behavior, the ripple effects of his stress. And more importantly, he could start to change it. Next comes clarity. Once you're aware of your patterns, it's time to gain clarity on your values, your goals, and your purpose as a leader. This isn't some fluffy, feel-good exercise where you make a vision board and call it a day. This is a deep, sometimes uncomfortable dive into your psyche. Tiffany often uses the analogy of cleaning out a cluttered closet. You have to take everything out, examine each item, and decide what truly serves you and what's just taking up space. It's not always comfortable. In fact, it can be downright painful, but it's necessary for growth. I remember Tiffany sharing a story about a client who went through this process. This woman was a rising star in her company, but she felt constantly overwhelmed and unfulfilled. Through the clarity phase, she realized that she had been pursuing goals that weren't truly aligned with her values. She was climbing the corporate ladder, but it was leaning against the wrong wall. This clarity allowed her to realign her career path with her true passions and values. The result? Not only did her stress levels decrease, but her performance skyrocketed. She went from being a good leader to a truly inspirational one, all because she gained clarity on what really mattered to her. Finally, we have talk. And no, this isn't about becoming a chatterbox in meetings. It's about the internal dialogue that shapes your reality and your actions. It's about rewiring your brain to support your goals instead of sabotaging them. Tiffany shared a powerful exercise she does with her clients. She asked them to write down their internal monologue for a day. The results are often shocking. Leaders who thought they were confident and decisive often uncover a stream of self-doubt and fear. One client, a successful entrepreneur, was stunned to realize that his internal dialogue was full of imposter syndrome. Who am I to be running this company? What if everyone realizes I'm a fraud? These thoughts were running in the background like malware, infecting his decisions and his leadership style. But here's the beautiful part. Once you're aware of this internal talk, you can change it. This entrepreneur worked with Tiffany to reframe his self-talk. He started acknowledging his achievements, reinforcing his capabilities. And guess what? His leadership transformed. His confidence became genuine, not a mask he wore to hide his insecurities. His team responded to this authentic leadership, and the entire company culture shifted. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but I'm doing fine. My team respects me. We're hitting our targets. But let me ask you this. Do you know what people are saying about you when you leave the room? It's a question that Tiffany poses to all her clients, and it never fails to give them pause, because the truth is, leadership isn't just about what you do or say when you're present. It's about the impact you leave behind. It's about creating a legacy that extends beyond your immediate sphere of influence. And this is where Tiffany's approach really shines. By focusing on self-awareness and personal growth, she's not just creating better leaders, she's creating better human beings. People who are more empathetic, more resilient, and more equipped to handle the challenges of our rapidly changing world. But let's be clear, this isn't some quick fix or magic pill, it's hard work. It requires courage to look at yourself honestly, to confront your shortcomings, and to commit to change. But the rewards, they're immeasurable. Tiffany shared stories of leaders who've gone through her program and completely transformed their organizations. Toxic work environments turned into hubs of innovation and collaboration. Teams that were on the brink of falling apart became cohesive units, driving unprecedented growth. And perhaps most importantly, individuals who were struggling with burnout and disillusionment rediscovered their passion and purpose. Now let's circle back to that shrinking brain we talked about earlier. When we're under chronic stress, our brains quite literally shrink. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making, emotional regulation, and complex thinking, actually reduces in size. It's like our brain is literally retreating from the onslaught of stress. But here's where it gets exciting. By implementing the A.C.T framework, by becoming more self-aware and intentional in our thoughts and actions, we can actually rewire our brains. We can strengthen the neural pathways that support clear thinking, emotional intelligence, and effective leadership. In essence, we can grow our brains back. Tiffany's work is living proof of this. As a survivor of a rare brain disorder, she's intimately familiar with the brain's capacity for healing and growth. She's taken the lessons from her own journey and combined them with cutting-edge neuroscience to create a leadership development approach that's truly transformative. But here's the thing. This isn't just about becoming a better leader in the workplace. The principles Tiffany teaches have far-reaching implications for every aspect of our lives. Think about it. How many of our personal relationships suffer because of poor communication or unresolved emotional issues? How often do we miss opportunities for growth because we're stuck in old patterns of thinking? By applying the A.C.T framework to our personal lives, we can become better parents, better partners, better friends. We can create ripple effects of positive change that extend far beyond our immediate circle. Now, I want to take a moment to acknowledge something important. Tiffany's journey hasn't been easy. She's a best-selling author, a speaker, a single mom of two, and a people leader in the oil and gas industry. She's rubbed shoulders with celebrity mentors and achieved levels of success that many only dream of. But she's also intimately familiar with struggle and adversity. It's this combination of success and struggle that makes her approach so powerful. She's not some guru spouting platitudes from an ivory tower. She's a real person who's been in the trenches, who's faced her own demons, and who's come out the other side stronger and wiser. And that's the message I want to leave you with today. Leadership, true, effective, transformative leadership, isn't about having all the answers. It's not about being perfect or infallible. It's about having the courage to look inward, to confront your own shortcomings, and to commit to continuous growth and improvement. It's about recognizing that your brain, yes, that amazing complex organ inside of your skull, is not static. It's dynamic, it's adaptable, and it has the potential for incredible growth and change, but only if you're willing to do the work. So I challenge you today, take a page from Tiffany Martin's book. Start your own journey of self-discovery. Ask yourself the hard questions. What are your triggers? What unconscious biases might be influencing your decisions? What stories are you telling yourself that might be holding you back? And most importantly, what kind of leader, what kind of person do you want to be? Because the beautiful truth is you have the power to shape that destiny. You have the power to grow your brain, to rewire your thoughts, to transform your leadership style and your life. Remember, leadership starts with self. It starts with getting your A.C.T together, cultivating awareness, seeking clarity, and transforming your self-talk. It starts with recognizing that every interaction, every decision, every moment is an opportunity for growth and positive impact. As we conclude this talk, I want to leave you with a call to action, a challenge, if you will. For the next week, I want you to become a scientist of your own mind. Pay attention to your thoughts, your reactions, your leadership style. Notice when your brain feels like it's shrinking under stress. And then, instead of retreating, lean in. Use Tiffany's ACT framework. Cultivate awareness of your thoughts and behaviors. Seek clarity on your values and goals, and most importantly, transform your self-talk. Replace those negative, stress-inducing thoughts with empowering ones. And here's the kicker. I want you to share this journey with someone else, whether it's a colleague, a friend, or your team. Because true transformation doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in community. Imagine a world where every leader, every team member, every individual was committed to this kind of growth and self-awareness. Imagine the ripple effects this could have on our workplaces, our communities, our world. You see, by rewiring your brain for leadership, you're not just changing yourself. You're changing the world around you. You're creating a new paradigm of leadership, one that's based on self-awareness, empathy, and continuous growth. So the next time you feel that familiar stress creeping in, threatening to shrink your brain, pause, take a deep breath, and remember, you have the power to grow, to change, to lead in a way that uplifts and inspires. Your brain on leadership doesn't have to be a story of stress and shrinkage. It can be a story of growth, of resilience, of transformation. And that story starts today with you. Thank you.